Alright, how we doing today, guys? Welcome to my channel. It's your boy 10th. If you've never been here before, thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the content. If you're a returning guest, thanks for coming back. I appreciate all your support. Alright, in today's video, I'm going to walk you guys through a leg workout with me, and then I'll just chat about some stuff at the end, I guess. The leg workout that I'm going to do is not my usual leg workout. It's a little bit unorthodox. I've been having like a lot of hip flexor pain around the psoas area, and I just wanted to experiment and try some other leg workouts to maybe take some of the strain off of my back and my hips and just kind of work on my range of motion and mobility. So it's going to look a little bit awkward. You know, it's not my standard workout, but we try new things. I hope you guys enjoy. So, like any good person should, before you start any workout, you should always start off with a good warm-up of stretches. I like to do dynamic stretches. They're better for you when you're starting the workout. This here is the step overs. Just step overs. There are different variations, but I like this one. You just use a PVC pipe and get one of these little rubber things and step over it for 2 sets of 12. Sometimes I do 3 sets. This right here, this is called the frog stretch. Don't be insecure, guys. I know it looks sus, but it's really good for you. 2 sets of these for a minute each, sometimes 3 as well. All right, the next stretch is alternating kneeling lunges. I do 2 sets on each leg, holding for 30 seconds. This just really targets the hip and stretches that area. Feels good. Sometimes I do 3 sets as well. These right here are called bridge kicks. Honestly, there's no cute way to do bridge kicks. You're always going to kind of feel awkward. I've seen different variations. Sometimes people put something under their leg just to go around it. Again, 2 sets of 12 each leg. Now here you see me practicing something I have never done before. This is going to be the weightless single leg RDLs. Like I said, I've never done this movement in my life, but I seen it and I was like, all right, yeah, I really want to work on this one because they say it's good for obviously mobility and strengthening the posterior chain, and it's just good to do something different. Like I said, I didn't want to do the typical back bar squats, leg press, standard, leg day. I wanted to mix it up, and I'm gonna be honest, this was quite awkward and taxing, but I still chose to do 4 sets of 12. That is the typical rep range that I like to do for most workouts when I'm not like trying to do like progressive overload or anything like that. And again, you guys got to be okay with not being great at something at first. Nobody starts at 100. We all begin somewhere. This is my start, and you guys hopefully will get to see me later when I'm more experienced and vetted in it. But yeah, I did 4 sets of 12 of this very uncomfortably, but we proud of it at the end of the day. Now, I will say I chose to do an additional set with weighted because I just really didn't love the 4 sets of 12 weightless. I was like, let me at least see what I got with this. And this was also awkward in the beginning, but progressively as I did more of it, I was like, okay, so I want to hold it with this hand, and this gives me more balance. And it started to feel a little good. Like, check us out right here. Wow, that was decent. I would say that's probably the best rep I've done throughout this whole series of this movement. And that's okay. Again, guys, if you're worried about looking bad because people are in the gym, who cares? You're still working. You're doing more than somebody that didn't come to the gym or someone that didn't even try to do this awkward movement. Focus on you. That's how you make gains. That's how you make growth. It should also be that way in your real life. Don't spend too much time looking around at other people. Run your own race. All right, here I'm doing sumo squats. I decided to do 4 sets of 12. You also don't have to do this elevated. I just chose to do it elevated because I wanted more of a deeper squat, just so I could feel it in my hips and really squeeze. It's good. This is a good movement. I like to do a lighter weight normally on the first 2 sets, and then either progressively go up a weight on the third and then another weight on the fourth, or just do an additional weight on the last 2 sets. So 4 sets of 12, really focusing on that range of motion. Does not have to be elevated. The goblet squat. This one I did the same, 4 sets of 12. Also, you can usually elevate your heels if you want. You do not have to use a kettlebell. Also, I should have said that with the sumo squats, you do not have to use a kettlebell. You can use a dumbbell. I just prefer the kettlebells. I'm entering my kettlebell phase, I feel like. Plus, I feel like when you hold a kettlebell for a goblet squat, it feels more like a goblet. Hence the term goblet squat. Once again, 4 sets of 12. I increased the weight on the last 2 sets. Really focusing on that range of motion, guys. All right, now we're doing everybody's favorite, Bulgarian squats. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, if Bulgarian split squats are your favorite, you're a psychopath. But walking lunges, here I just do 4 sets and I choose a destination that feels appropriate to me, as well as a weight that feels appropriate to me. Sometimes I keep the same weight the whole time, or sometimes I gradually go up each set. It all depends on the type of day that I'm having. But these are really good for targeting the quads. They also target the glutes, and I feel them. You should feel them in your hips a little bit too, depending on the motion. Just an overall great workout. They're not everybody's favorite, but I definitely feel an improvement in my movements since I've started doing these regularly. I used to run from them a little bit, if I'm being honest, but now I like them. All right, this is pretty typical leg extensions. We've all seen this before. 4 sets of 12 to 15. I don't like this particular machine at this gym, so at first I was like, I'm only doing 12 of these. These shits hurt. But I thought about it. I guess I had a couple more chips in the bag, so I went for 15. Honestly, you can see it on my face. I was like, damn, okay, we did that. But yeah, pretty standard. 4 sets of 12. Increase the weight gradually. Simple. Disappointment. This right here. I didn't put this weight on this bar. This was left here. This is one of the unwritten gym laws, guys. Please put your weights back. You know what I mean? In this situation, for me, this wasn't as bad because I am going to use some of the weight that's on the rack. But imagine if I wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, it takes no time to do the right thing. Also, no one is your mate. That is all, people. Rant over. All right, right here, this is going to be calf raises. You don't have to do them on the Smith machine. I do prefer them on the Smith machine, but there are also seated calf raises. Some people like that. I do it sometimes. I don't know what the machine is that makes you do the little awkward calf raise thing, but that also exists. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, feel free to put it in the comments. I just prefer the Smith machine I feel it more in my calves. This particular Smith machine, I also don't enjoy it because it's at an angle, but yeah, you gotta work with what you got, right? Just finished the workout. Wasn't my favorite, but I also didn't hate it. It was a little different, you know. Excuse the windshield wiper noise. It's kind of foggy out here in Florida tonight, but anyways. You know, I started doing this YouTube stuff again, and I had done it before, you know, like I said in my prior video. And when I first started doing it, I think I was just like really doing things to just be active, just to keep myself busy. I was going through a lot at the time, you know, just transitioning in life. And, you know, I always told myself that I wanted to do film. Believe it or not, when I did go to college, for the short time that I did go, my original major was like film, you know, and photography and shit. It's crazy as that seems, but I've always like had like an interest in telling a story and things like that. But you know, sometimes we just start things and we don't necessarily finish them. We get caught up in other things. And you know, this time when I start this, I feel stronger with it. You know, I have a lot of passions. Like I said, if you watched any of my other videos, music was initially one of my first passions, and it's like really my first love, you know. But I got a lot of interests. I think I just like being creative as a whole, and I would like to also get back to music too. But this feels different. Like YouTube, this time it feels right. Like I feel like when I started it before, yes, I wanted to be successful at it, but I also did it from like a place of surviving or lack thereof, you know, just wanting a different type of income. Not believing in like get rich quick and things like that, but just, you know, the heart wasn't there. The want or fiscal need or the want to keep busy, to keep your mind off things was there. Whereas this time it's a lot more healthy. I said all that to say, you know, I just left the gym, and the gym has been such a good thing for me. You know, like I feel like the older we get as people, like life feels very like we don't have no control of it sometimes. You know, like we if you're not careful and if you don't have enough like mental capacity, I don't really feel like that's the right word, but if you don't really have enough grit to stick through the hard moments, you'll kind of feel like there's so many hard moments that everything is kind of pointless. But I think in times like that, you have to find that thing in your life that can ground you and keep you centered and keep you kind of full even when you're a little empty. And fortunately enough for me, the gym has been that for me. It's been good to me. I don't just go to look good, and I do go to feel good, but I also go because it's a type of control. Like, I can't control everything that happened in my life. I can't control how much money I'm making all the time. I can't control how my personal relationships are going all the time. Anything. But the one thing I can kind of control is how I take care of me, what I feed myself, or how I work out, the way I sleep, or the things that I digest. And that's been such a good thing, like acknowledging that, like, the way you treat yourself truly determines how you'll be able to treat others. So again, I'm rambling, but with purpose. Find that one thing, and find that one thing and let that one thing kind of catapult you into consistency in other things. Because believe it or not, the crazy thing is when you start being consistent in one thing and you feel it and you see the results, it almost like stirs something in you that make you feel like, damn, like, I did that. I really did that. What else can I do? You know what I'm saying? Like, what else can I do? I learned that I had to fall on my ass real hard and go through like a super hard time. The crazy thing about life is, like, when you feel like you went through your hardest time, something else can come along and truly show you that you didn't even know what rock bottom was yet, right? But when you get up from there and you heal and you fix yourself and you kind of learn the things that are important to you and the things that matter, then you kind of realize, man, like, okay, how can I take care of these things that matter and take care of me? Because you should automatically be something that matters to you. And I guess what I'm trying to say, man, is like, find that thing that stirs you. Find that thing that makes you happy, that makes you whole, that shakes something in you and makes you want to go chase other things. I started off with my mental health, in recent years. And then I was like, all right, I got to get my finances back in order. I did that, like, really started working on that. They still aren't completely where I want them to be, but man, I've come so far. I've really grown and blossomed. And then I was like, all right, finance is kind of in order. I got a decent job that, I can tolerate. I don't love it, but I like it, and it's not bad. You got to pick your suck, right? And I was like, all right, cool. Finance is kind of in order. Now I want to take care of my physical. Like, I want to see what the best version of me is. Like, even in getting older, I still think I want to be. I'm capable, and I want to see what I'm capable of. Like, so the gym, and then all right, cool. I learned the gym. I'm not scared to try different things either. As if you watch the workout that I just showed you prior to this rambling session, that wasn't my typical leg day. It was me trying some different things. I actually been having a lot of hip flexor pain, so I just been trying to strengthen my posterior chain and do different movements than I'm used to. Some things that I'm used to, but some other ones that I'm not. But anyways, really learning the gym, really learning to be okay with the uncomfort and discomfort of the gym and the consistency, going even when I don't want to go. And now, I'm here. I'm trying to do this YouTube stuff, and I'm not scared of the uncomfort, the discomfort that comes with this process. Like, obviously I'm pretty private about it in my personal life, because I honestly expect to, like, gain more traction from people that don't know me than people that do me. And I think that's also just me trying to protect my ideals here, because sometimes when you let people in on your plans, that gives them room to try to instill doubt into them. And so it's sometimes better to just do things uncomfortably, like, be okay with doing it without the rest of the world knowing, like, your personal world anyway. I know this doesn't make any sense, but basically what I'm trying to say, if you made it this far, is like, don't be afraid to do it alone, and don't be afraid to be uncomfortable. Just make sure you start. If you start
you'll see the results. I always tell people now, because again, the gym is so important. The way you treat yourself in the gym and like your health and stuff really shows and dictates how you'll treat other things in your life. If you can't be consistent in the gym, not, most likely you can't be consistent at a lot of things. Now there are different like variables and stuff. Some people have kids, some people truly just don't have the availability or the access. But even still, I do feel the old statement of you find time for the things that are important to you is present. Now, like I said, everybody's variables are different, but again, that's just my personal feelings with my situation, right? If you can't be consistent or show up for you, the person that should honestly matter the most to you in the world, then it's unlikely that you can be consistent for others and other situations, right? Because believe it or not, like, some people are going to call this a selfish statement, but I just think those people may have not done enough self-reflecting to understand it. You have to be selfish sometimes, because nobody's going to love you more than you love you. They're not supposed to. You know what I mean? They're not supposed to. It's like Will Smith said, even amongst all that stuff with him and Jada Pinkett, like, there were some gems in there. He said, her happiness is not my responsibility. And that's true. That's true. That doesn't just mean like in like emotional relationships. That means in any relationships. Like, you got to be happy with yourself first, and then down the road, like, once you know who you are and you're happy with you, that'll make it 10 times easier for you to show up for other people if the situation dictates you to. Now, I hope you guys are kind of understanding what I'm saying with this. Like, it's like the people who use the word boundaries and don't really grasp the concept or process of a boundary. The word boundaries is a very healthy word if used correctly, right? Some people use the word boundaries as a way to just say, "Oh, I don't want to do that shit." Like, I'm not gonna do that. Boundaries, Whereas the proper, use of boundaries is setting principles and things that you stand for and ways to truly protect you, as a person. Um, that's the most important thing, learning what a boundary is, learning where to set those boundaries, and learning um, what that means, So I'm saying a lot to say. I hope you guys are taking the time to learn who you are and figure out what you want, and be okay being uncomfortable, and be okay going after that thing, even if it doesn't make sense. Just going, and also not being scared to fail, and also not being scared to start. And even if you do fail, go again. And if you fail after that, go another time. Like, treat life like the gym, bro. Always go after that last rep. Safely and under the right circumstances, but lift the weight, do the work, grind. Find that thing that pushes you forward. That's the most important thing I would tell really anyone, is find that thing that propels you into the person that you want to be. Life's too short to live, safe or uncomfy. Like, become more, do more, seek more. Fuck. Yeah. Excuse. There was a cop next to me. I think it was just staring at my soul, I felt like. Anyway. Maktub. It was already written. Your destiny. Anything that you want, it's out there. You just got to go be willing to go and see what your story has to offer. Appreciate y'all for your time, I'm sorry if that didn't make any sense, but I hope you took some gems out of that.